Hey y'all, it's January the 10th, 2019, and I thought I would holler at y'all real briefly about something that really dawned on me only last night. And it really set in. And I think I got a perspective that everybody needs to hear, I think. That's what I think. Alright. First of all, shout out to my man, Anaconda Malt Liquor. Alright, he puts out some quality content.
Here a little bit more. You won't find much else footage-wise apart from this, which just makes it look like a big drill. So I would say that the car attack in Take a Shit Street in Tokyo, look at these guys here. Hang on. And there's a bike on the ground, so definitely somebody got hit because there's a bike on the ground. That's all. We don't see any injured parties. Not these guys, just they're in no hurry to help anybody either. So I'd say that was just a drill, a Tokyo drill. And it seems that they do things a little bit differently in Tokyo. Look at this all tarped up the street and taped off. Never seen that before. Anywhere. So there you go. Unless they're preparing a huge big slip slide, they're going to put some washing detergent and some water on it, and all the little Japs can have a slide from one end to the other. I don't know. Whatever. These Japaneses, they do drills different to we do. You can see the guys in what look like bomb suits there, and yeah, crazy stuff. So yeah, not much more in the way of footage to see in that one. And I'll have to have another look at the German ridiculous thing as well. But again, thanks for everyone who participated now.
He puts out some quality content. And furthermore, I want to state that he does seem to have a touch for networking. You know, perhaps public relations, things of this nature. If you're an up-and-coming YouTuber, I would suggest you get his attention. Anyways, he was talking to me earlier about a video that I did last evening, and the video that I did was about a wall on the border, Texas and I guess California, all up and down the border. I was talking about it, and I think a lot of people probably tend to agree, come through the channel, that a wall sounds pretty good right about now. It does sound pretty good. Reason being is because there's a negotiation going on. I don't know if you would call it a negotiation so much as a standoff going on right now. Seems to be a standoff going on in which the government is still shut down. If I understand correctly, it's still shut down. I was talking about how just more and more it was occurring to me that a wall actually does sound good. I never knew what to think about the wall this whole time. But more and more, the wall just sounded better and better. The thing is, like I said, it is a standoff. All right, and everybody's watching. Pretty much every American's watching to see who blinks first. Who's going to blink first? Not only that, people all around the world are watching right now, it seems. Right? That's from what I understand. So the thing is, the wall, funding for it, even just a little bit, that's become very necessary. All right? And that's whether or not people even like it, but a lot of people do like it. That's the thing about it. Now, one question, and it's a very good question, that Anaconda Malt Liquor brought up is that he brought up the border and the wall. Now, would the wall be to keep people out, or hypothetically keep people in? All right, because a wall can work both ways like that. You understand, if there is an economic little bit of a collapse or a depression, which everybody's pretty much predicting coming very soon, if there is a little bit of a depression and stuff, they thought the question has been, could the wall go ahead and keep us in there, up in here, if we're trying to flee to Mexico for refuge? All right. I want to say I heard that idea a long time ago, and it's an intriguing question. First time I heard about it was from Ron Paul. All right. And this was years ago. This is when we first started hearing about the wall. Ron Paul said, you know what? The wall could be used to keep y'all in. Think about it. All right. It's always been intriguing. But it only dawned on me just last night. And I really thought about it. I mean, I brought my brain down to simple mode. All right. I want y'all to picture this, because I've been born and raised in San Antonio, Texas. Not exactly on the border, but not exactly devoid of illegal immigrants. All right. That's where I'm coming from. Here's the thing. As far as people coming from Mexico to San Antonio, that happens a lot. A lot. As far as people being born and raised in San Antonio and deciding to up and go to Mexico, that's dang near nothing. All right. It's, for all intents and purposes, non-existent. All right. Some people do. Not really. Here's the thing. When you incorporate the history of Texas and the culture and San Antonio in particular, it's not going to happen. There's never going to be a situation. You're talking about a totally different world in which people from Texas are going to want to flee into Mexico. Right? Mexico is already bad. It's never going to happen. In a hypothetical situation, you could say, okay, a wall would keep us in. But the thing is, more people than not would wind up shooting, just going out in a blaze of glory, if you will, than ever running to Mexico. They don't know people in Mexico, a lot of them. Right? So it just would never happen. That being said, before we get out of here, I do want to say this. Could you imagine that we actually got through this depression, which is inevitable? The bubbles are going to pop. And we got through it safe and sound. And, you know, we took a bit of a haircut as a nation, but then we put our bootstraps, we pulled ourselves up by the bootstraps. We started working on our infrastructure. We started really planning and saving our money wisely. All right. If we did all that and our economy was just top notch, all right, it was better than it ever was before. Here's the thing. What we would do immediately is put up a wall. Inevitably. The wall would go up inevitably. All right. If you're talking about bad situation or wonderful situation, wall's going to go up. It is going to go up. I got a feeling I know who's going to blink first. All right. Anyways, it's January the 10th, y'all. 2019. And I appreciate... Hey, y'all. I almost forgot something. All right. Actually, a couple things to mention in this previous video. Just to be very specific, because I know a lot of people aren't familiar with San Antonio and what exactly goes on in San Antonio, Texas. All right, they might Google it, look it up. All right, and they might realize that the mayor of San Antonio is a Democrat, and they might even see that the only people that even run for mayor in San Antonio for a long time have all been Democrats. If they were to do the research and stuff, they'd realize that all those Democrats always say the same thing, and basically it's a conservative Democrat stance. All right, basically they just get along and go along, these mayors. In fact, nobody in San Antonio, a very small percentage of people in San Antonio, know the name of the mayor of San Antonio. All right, politically, I gotta stress that is why San Antonio is Democrat, is because nobody knows and hardly nobody cares. You might say, well, why is that? Well, the reason is because it seems what's trending in San Antonio, and it's been for a while, is that people are getting money here. And what it seems as though is when people get enough money here, what they do is they stop paying attention to politics. They find something better to do. God bless them. All right? Maybe they go and get some guns and go to the range. All sort of things. All right? So they don't pay attention. They don't know who the mayor is. All right? So this is the reason why it is Democratic. But I got to stress that during the Depression, actually, during a little depressive mode, the country in a whole probably would suffer, and there'd be spots in the country that would suffer. But what I do have to stress about San Antonio is economically it would not suffer all that much. In fact, people would try to get all up in San Antonio just like they have been doing for years now. All right, San Antonio just keeps growing and growing and growing. It's like a monster. All right, so that's the situation that I'm pointing out. That's especially why I can say that San Antonio people are never, ever, 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 ever going to run to Mexico, because they'll never have a reason to. Unless San Antonio, and this is the only way, unless San Antonio was militarily hit by something, by some sort of missiles and stuff, ain't nobody leaving San Antonio to go to Mexico ever. All right? I mean, you're going to have some people, but it's going to be just a small fraction. And with that being stated, I do want to stress that if I understand correctly, maybe I don't, there's a standoff going on as far as funding for that wall. Donald Trump's talking about $5 billion. It's going to wind up costing about 20 some odd billion. All right. There is a standoff going on, and a lot of people want that wall. All right. What I got to explain is, it's not even what I want to explain is about this standoff. It seems like it's going to go and go, right? From what I heard, and I could be wrong, but from what I understand, Donald Trump said, well, he'd be willing to shut down the government for days, even for weeks. He said for months. He said, man, it could even be a year. So Donald Trump said. So hypothetically, this little standoff could go on for months and months and months, or even a year. That's even what Donald Trump said. All right. So within that span of time, here's what I'm predicting, because like I said, we pretty much know who's going to blink first. All right. In between that amount of time, the Democrats and whoever's working with them, everybody who's incorporated in that world, they're going to, and I'm talking about certain people, behind the scenes are going to orchestrate some sort of calamity, a lot of it, some sort of very big calamity. And it's going to, what they're going to attempt to do is make Donald Trump look like a fool for shutting down the government. It's going to be in a very specific way, and they're going to cause an incident, all right? And when they do, we're going to eat their lunch, because we already know about their incidents, all right? That's exactly what's going to happen. Either that, or Nancy Pelosi and Chucky Schumer are going to blink, and they're going to blink so hard that they've never blinked that hard before. Anyways, it's January the 10th, y'all, 2019.